This week, RJ and I are talking about the cold chain. That may be familiar to you if you're a professional florist. However, if you're not, you may not know what the cold chain for flowers is or does or why it's important. And that's what our podcast is all about today. The cold chain for flowers. We'll talk about the origins of the cold chain for flowers and the people behind making it work, and why it's important for everyone that buys and enjoys flowers. Let's cool off and learn more about the cold chain for flowers. Cal Flowers is a proud sponsor of this public service announcement we have created for the flower industry. It's free to view, free to watch, share, and use, courtesy of Cal Flowers and the Life in Bloom Foundation, Incorporated. It's a great reminder for all of us in the flower industry to remember to do our part to keep the cold chain intact, from flower field to vase all across the country, every day in every way. Cal Flowers is a proud sponsor of Life in Bloom, Behind the Bloom podcast, and this cold chain video, and I'm so very grateful.
All right, and we're rolling. Hey, Jay.
All right. So we're going to talk about the cold chain.
All right.
You have a lot of questions.
I know.
And I think that's great.
Okay.
Because, so here's the deal. I think the cold chain is very familiar to people in the flower industry.
Okay. Uh-huh.
But it is not to laymen.
Mm-hmm.
Or people who are hobbyists or just out in the general public, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we did this.
Okay.
It's twofold. But here, I'm going to start with the tip.
Okay.
Because that's going to get us started down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that all of us throughout our lives have learned that, you're supposed to cut a flower and put it in warm water, and that's going to make it bloom longer. And that might be an old wives' tale. That might be something that your grandma told you. That might be something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in all actuality, after research was done, and I don't know where that came from. I guess people thought that warm water was better. I don't really know. But cold water, putting your flower in cold water. And by cold water, I mean as cold as possible. So like if you could put your flower in 33-degree water, that would be the best.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But like 45 is better than 96 or 104 or something like that, because the cold water has less air in it. All right. For one thing.
Oh, okay.
When you fill a glass with warm water, you notice that it's cloudy. That's because there's more air that's been dispersed. My niece Grace is going to join me on the show that we're going to do about the cold chain for Life in Bloom to tell me the scientific reason. And it's about the convection. It's about the convection that happens. And she's going to show me this thing with dye and show you how warm water acts differently than cold water.
Oh, cool.
Which is going to be cool.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, those cold temperatures also reduce bacteria growth. So if you're keeping something cold, it doesn't going to grow bacteria. You know that because we all own a refrigerator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you keep things colder, you don't have bacteria. If you keep things warmer, you will get bacteria.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and dad would always tell me we'd go to these people's house. That was our cousins, actually. And they were like, don't eat the chicken after lunch because they just stick it in the oven and leave it in there all day. And I was like, okay, so there's that.
You'll use water from the refrigerator. You've talked about before that you'll keep water in the refrigerator so
Absolutely.
It's already at that cooler temperature.
Yeah, many times, like especially in the winter, I can stick a bucket in the garage and let it cool down before I go get flowers.
Mm.
People actually are like, well, okay, and people say this a lot. My flowers will actually open faster if I use warm water. It's not true.
Oh, okay.
It's not true. It's been proven wrong. And so when you're saying that, you're just showing your ignorance. So no, it's not true. Now the big thing too is like taking a flower and putting it between your hands and rolling it back and forth a rose, and then it'll unfurl.
Oh.
That will make your flower open faster, but putting it in warmer water won't.
Okay.
So, and it just causes more bacteria. So it goes against everything we've always heard, but it works like a charm. Use cold water all the time.
Okay.
So always use cold water. How do you want to start this?
Well, it's so funny, Jay, because you sent an outline and it had so much information in it. And I
put everything in
everything.
it because I had to do my research on this because what we did was, and the reason that I wanted to do this show, a friend came to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the Cal Flowers convention and a friend came up to me. Her name's Cammie, and she works for Floral Trade Distributing in California. And they're a company that specializes in shipping flowers in the cold chain.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So they're a refrigerated truck company.
Okay.
Where they will ship things, perishable things. And they will ship other perishable things too that need to be under a cold temperature, like beer, stuff like that too. They will also help with that. She said that there's so many new people in our flower industry, and I think that's true. We have new people that are getting in the flower industry all the time. We have people who are new wedding and event planners, people who are doing special event things. They don't know about the cold chain.
Oh, okay.
And so she said, I think we need to do a public service announcement or refresher course for them, a short little video that would tell them why the cold chain is important.
Okay.
And why, because here's the other thing. Shipping flowers under temperature control is more expensive. And here's the thing that I would say is I'm very thankful for FedEx and I love them dearly. It is a fast way to deliver flowers overnight. When it doesn't work, it's bad.
Oh, okay.
When there is a delay, it's bad because it is not temperature controlled. In spring and fall, it's wonderful because there's no temperature things that happen. But in the summer, like right now, with it being 95 degrees or 100 degrees on the East Coast, shipping flowers not in controlled temperature, they're going to heat up quickly.
Okay. And then they'll wilt and they'll get destroyed. And
what happens, okay, so here's the key. This is why the cold chain's important. For every hour a plant is outside of what is considered the maximum cool temperature, which is 45 degrees. Okay, anytime a plant spends more than an hour outside of that, it loses anywhere from 3 to 6 hours of vase life.
Oh, wow.
So if it's out for 4 or 5 hours, it's lost a day.
Oh, my gosh.
If it's lost for a day, it's lost 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
And here's the other thing that I was really interested to learn when I started doing this. Once a box of flowers gets above 55, you can't cool it down. It's just going to get hotter.
Oh.
And it's going to get over 100 on its own.
Really?
Because as the way the foliage starts to deteriorate and the bacteria starts to move in the cell structure, it just heats up.
It heats itself up on its own.
It heats itself up. And
Wow.
it'll be, I have gotten boxes before that are 104 and everything's dead
Oh.
because it
Jeez.
cooks itself. It just cooks itself.
Wow. So the cold chain is super important then.
It's super important. How did we discover the cold chain? I've many times told the story that my father insisted that I go to college. And I could have gone to Ohio State and I could have studied under Dr. George Stobbe, who was one of my father's dearest friends. And Mr. Stobbe is still alive today. Dr. Stobbe, he earned the doctorate. Dr. Stobbe discovered through research at Ohio State University and also with a couple of other affiliates in the University of Florida, 3 other professors, in 1975, discovered the cold chain concept.
Okay.
Meaning that if we're able to keep a flower cold and maintain that cold temperature for the duration of time from field to vase, we will have much longer life.
Okay.
So prior to 1975, we weren't doing this. I was 15 years old. We'd been selling flowers my whole life. We weren't doing the cold chain. It was a deal breaker. I remember in 1978 was when there was a big campaign because my dad was in the Society of American Florists. He was best friends with George Stobbe. They brought out the cold chain. They introduced this entire concept to the world, and it just became this huge thing that everybody was suddenly doing was this cold chain. And it was making a huge difference. I mean, we were talking about roses going from a 1 to 2 day shelf life to like 8.
Oh, wow.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, carnations going from a 3-day phase life to 10. You know, it just made this huge difference with everybody. The goal was to provide the flower industry with credible information about the cold chain, i.e. the research,
Okay.
that would allow them to care for cut flowers and other flower crops. A survey of 200 cut flower growers in the U.S. indicated that temperature management was the top post-harvest challenge for flowers. They were already saying, okay, listen, this temperature change is really what's doing these flowers in. And you might have somebody who was growing a flower, cut it, took it home, put it in a vase, cut it right in the field, put it in a vase right there, and then was like, this flower's lasting a long time, but if I ship it across the country, it's dying. It's not lasting as long. What's going on? What they discovered was the failure to adhere to these processes resulted in significant waste and considerable reduction of vase life for cut flowers. Warmer temperatures result in stem bending, petal drop, and the general aging of flowers. So
Okay.
all that happens from something getting warmer. It's very funny. In this video, I'm just going to say this right now. For years, San Francisco was kind of considered an anomaly because there were no coolers in the former San Francisco flower market.
Right.
Because they didn't need them because it just didn't get warm enough there. Well, now with climate change and with the things that are happening, they can have a 100-degree day in San Francisco. And it's interesting, like when we travel, if you've ever been in San Francisco, or even like right now, France is having a huge influx of heat.
Mm-hmm.
The French don't have a lot of air conditioning because they've never had to have it. San Francisco's the same way. There's a lot of places that aren't air conditioned because they don't need it, but now they have to. We have air conditioning here and we use air conditioning. I was just reading an article the other day. With climate change now, air conditioning is not just a luxury anymore. It's a health crisis for people who don't have it. It can kill them and it can kill flowers. That's what's happening. It was a process discovered to make flowers last longer.
And I think it's so important to emphasize that it's a chain too, because I imagine one of these steps along the way, if you don't do all of these steps, it's like almost ruins everything else.
It does. So you can take a perfectly healthy product and be following the cold chain, and then you have a blip in it where it isn't under control for a day. It's going to ruin the whole crop.
Okay.
It's going to ruin everything that you have, and it's not going to matter the work that you went into. So it was really interesting when I was starting to build this PSA that is available. I'm going to put the link down below so anyone can go watch it. It's available through us and through Cal Flowers. And we will give it to anyone who's in the education field who wants a copy of it. Anybody who wants a copy of it, simply write to me, jay@ubloom.com, and say you want a copy of it, and I'll send it to you. You can have it. We did it that way, and Cal Flowers helped us produce this and helped us fund this so that we could do this. Because what good is a PSA if nobody can get to it? What good is a reminder if you can't get to it? So it's available on our website for free. It's available on YouTube for free. It's available. We'll send you a copy of it. It's free, whatever you want to do. It's important that I was like, okay, what's the through line for this story? There has to be a through line. And when I was talking to my friend Chip, who is the owner of Floral Trade Distributors, I said, what's the whole point of the cold chain? I mean, we know what it does. We're going to talk about the proof here in a minute. We'll talk about the components and stuff like that. And we know what the proof is. The proof's in the pudding, but what's the message? And he said, it's a community effort. Everybody along the line does their job. And if everybody along the line does their job properly, we have longer lasting flowers. I think it's interesting because people always say to me, your flowers last so long. I mean, they're just like, how old are these flowers? These are 10 days old. These are 12 days old. These are 15 days old. And they're like, my flowers don't last that long because it's a community effort. What happened to your flowers after you bought them? Whenever I go somewhere and buy flowers, I take a bucket of cold water with me. When I go to the farmer's market, I take a bucket of cold water with me. I put my flowers in the bucket of cold water. My car is air conditioned. I do not let them sit in the heat. I bring them home immediately. I put them into a cool room. I put them into cold water again. It's a community effort. It's everybody doing their part.
Yeah, you're part of the cold chain. It's not just all the industrial part of it, but it's you being a consumer is part of it.
If I buy a bunch of flowers at the grocery store, throw them on my back seat, and then make 2 other errand stops on my way home and let my car heat up to 70 or 80 degrees, I've lost a day or 2 or 3 of shelf life on those flowers because I let them heat up. It's that simple. Really that simple. That's it.
Yeah.
The 5 things, there are 5 components to this. It's temperature and storage. So making sure that you're in a low temperature and that you're storing in a low temperature. It's ethylene control. So ethylene is the same gas that makes fruit ripen.
Oh, okay.
There are trucks that come from like Florida to California that are filled with tomatoes. They pump in ethylene so the tomatoes will ripen on their way.
Whoa. Okay.
So now here's a really funny story. And this is a funny story, but it was a serious story. When the Dole Company, the Dole Fruit and Vegetable Company, got into flowers, they thought this is going to be really easy because we're shipping fruit and vegetables out of Miami. The flowers are coming in from Colombia from Miami. We'll just stick them on the trucks with them and we'll send them across the country. They were pumping ethylene into those trucks. And when they got to their destination, all the flowers were dead.
Oh,
Because
gosh.
ethylene will kill flowers. If you're a serious florist, people don't put fruit or their lunch in the cooler with the flowers. You keep clean buckets. You pull off dead foliage. I see pictures all the time on social media where people are in their coolers telling us about how fresh their flowers are, and there's leaves, flower, petals, stuff on the floor. You're killing your flowers. The same time you're talking about how great they are. If you want to be serious, it's about educating those people
Mm-hmm.
so that they know what that's causing. Third is sanitation processes. Clean buckets, clean bunches of flowers, clean water. Fourth is what we just talked about, education.
Yeah.
Okay? It's about
Mhm.
educating those people about, hey, this isn't helping the cold chain because you're doing this.
Mhm.
So it's really important that you think about that. And then number 5 is the utilization of post-harvest products. So, Kreisel is one of our sponsors here of this podcast, but it's so important to be using the proper post-harvest products. And I can't tell you how many new or recent wedding and event specialists who talk to me and ask me for advice, and they say, I don't use preservatives because it doesn't do any good. I only have them for a couple hours. It doesn't matter. In those couple hours, they can suck up something that's going to provide a benefit for them for the next 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 days.
Right.
That's important. And what's up inside that stem is very, very, very important. And it's part of the cold chain. If any of these 5 things drop out, the cold chain doesn't work.
Okay.
When people say to me many times too, I've had people who say, flowers don't last like they used to. No, because people aren't doing their job.
Mm-hmm.
I love FedEx to death. I'm crazy about them. I love them. I promise you that. I cannot ship a box on Wednesday from San Francisco to my house to arrive on Thursday. It won't ever come.
Mm.
It'll come on Friday. And it's something about their system.
Okay.
So I ship on Tuesdays for Wednesday arrival, and that's my favorite, or Monday for Tuesday arrival. I can't ship on Friday because they don't deliver on Saturday. I don't want it sitting somewhere for a weekend because it's not going to sit in a cooler. That's just a detriment about where I live personally. Now I can ship from Florida. I can overnight from Florida on Wednesday and get home, get it Thursday, not a problem. But it's just about coming from San Francisco or from California. It's a problem. You have to know those things and be aware about them. It's the way the system works. And big companies like FedEx do what's best for the majority. Flowers are not the majority in FedEx. There's a lot of other things going FedEx.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about this too, I think the other thing that's interesting about it is if you follow these steps, and this is where how the cold chain got everybody's attention originally. You'll minimize lost revenue. You'll reduce shrink. You'll improve overall product quality, and you'll build trust with your flower consumers because your flowers last longer. And it was simple.
Mm-hmm.
Those are simply what happened. Now, if you can imagine being somebody who's, that's what everybody wants. If you're a wedding or special event planner, you want people to have confidence in your product. You want to be offering a quality product. You want something that's going to last. If you're buying flowers in the grocery store, you want to make sure that they're doing it. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Most grocery stores, a very high quantity of them, have undisturbed cold chain.
Mm-hmm.
It works really well for them, and that's why grocery store flowers last, is because they've implemented and maintained the cold chain. And they were already familiar with it because they have to do it with other products too.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
They had to understand different coolers. If you go in the back of a big grocery store, there's a cooler for fruit, there's a cooler for dairy, there's a cooler for flowers. They're different because they have to be. That's important as well. So I think that that's a really good message for people to understand. And many times when I'm consulting with somebody and they're like, my flowers aren't lasting as long, what am I doing? Okay, I want to know how you're buying your flowers. How are you shipping them to you? How do they get to you in the shipping process? What happens to them when they get at your store? Are you washing your buckets? Are you adding flower nutrients? Are you doing those things? Are you educated about those things that are going to help that process work better? Typically, you can find the weak link.
Oh, yeah.
Almost always you can find the weak link. And it's like, I drive to the market at 4:00 in the morning and then I throw everything in my car. Do you put it in water in your car? No, I need too much stuff. So I just lay it in the back of my car. Okay. And on the way home, I stop at Starbucks and I get coffee. And then I also stop at the wholesaler and I pick up the vases that I need for the week. And then I go back to my house. Okay. And then when I get them there, I just bring them. Do you bring them in immediately? Well, yeah, I bring them in and set it on the counter. But then sometimes I'm busy at work and I have to make a few arrangements already. So then I'm not going to put them in water right away.
They broke the chain.
Broke the chain.
Yeah.
And then it starts to happen. It's not intentional, and they're not doing it to be mean. They're not doing it to be malicious. They're just doing it because they're not educated. And so that's where that fourth pillar of this whole thing comes in, is the education process. Temperature is extremely important too. And people, the optimum temperature for a flower to be in a cooler is 33 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard. And you can go up to 45, but 33, 36. And I can tell you something. When you run a cooler at 45, it doesn't smell clean. But if you run it at 32, it does smell clean.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because at 45, it's starting to deteriorate, and you're right at that level that you shouldn't be. And it's really funny, in this video we created, Cami talks about hot boxes. And sometimes they will have a driver who comes in and they're saying, hey, you've got a hot box alert. We've got 4 boxes here that are over 45 degrees. When it's between 45 and 55, they can do something. And they show it in this video, and it's called forcing air. And so they put it against this thing that pushes cold air through the box.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But once it gets past 55, that won't help. That won't help anymore. It's really important to remember that most cooler things are meant to keep something cool, not cool it down.
Yeah, like what was the beer can analysis you talked about in the video?
Yeah. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The beer can analysis is is beer is meant to be kept cold. They don't cool beer to cool it down. It goes into trucks already cold. Cooling it down is a whole nother process.
Mm-hmm.
With beer, it's a much colder temperature, which would be detrimental to flowers. But they can even go below 32 degrees to cool a beer down.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's alcohol in it.
Mm-hmm. And if you put a warm beer can in with all the other cold beers, it's going to bring the temperature, like it's going to disrupt temperature of everything. Instead of cooling that warm one, it's just going to disrupt everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was an interesting, comparison.
Did you know flowers perform best in clean water with the precise food? Chrysal Flower Food is formulated by scientists to prolong the vase life of flowers as much as possible, and it's easy to use. I always choose Chrysal Flower Food because it feeds the flowers, resulting in vibrant color and enhanced fragrance, while also keeping bacteria levels down. My personal favorite product is Chrysal Professional 3. If you want to experience the benefits, Chrysal Flower Food products are available at their website, chrysalflowerfood.com. That's CHRYSAL flowerfood.com. And be sure to use our discount code UBloom10 for 10% off your purchase. Support the joy of flowers. The Life in Bloom Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to flower education and inspiring a love of flowers in everyone. The foundation helps fund the production of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom on public television, making it possible for viewers across the country to enjoy the beauty and benefits of flowers. The foundation also provides free flower education to high schools, colleges, and floriculture programs through ubloom.com, helping students and future florists bloom in their own careers. Your donation in any amount makes a difference. Plus, all contributions are 100% tax deductible. If you'd like to help us continue sharing the power of flowers, visit thelifeinbloomfoundation.org to donate today. Thank you for your support. I think it's also very interesting, too, that you can cool things down better and faster with water.
Oh, right.
Putting flowers in ice cold water will cool down that flower very quickly, and it won't transpire moisture off. That's the other thing. Okay, you got a sealed box of flowers, right? And so the sealed box of flowers is transpiring when it starts to get warm. So that moisture gets trapped in the box, and that's when ethylene takes over and botrytis takes over.
Okay.
And so when you open a box of flowers that has been over 55 degrees, you're going to see that all the roses have like a brown slime on them.
Mm.
And that's botrytis. And botrytis can only form when there's free moisture and elevated temperature. That's the only way for it to form. And so it's just really important to do this, to follow this process. And it's really important to use the post-harvest products. So when we talk about post-harvest products, we talk about, that's flower food. Okay, so that's the Chrysler Professional 3 I always talk about. That's the CVBN tablets that we talk about. That's the anti-transpirants that we spray on the flowers. Those are post-harvest products that have a long-lasting effect on those products. That Chrysler Professional 3 is going to open those flowers. It's going to help them open, and it's going to feed them so that those flowers open. It's very interesting when I tell somebody who's a special event planner, and I always use this analogy, and this is the story. Okay, say you have planned this wedding and you've done your count and you need 6,000 orange roses. You tell me that you need 6,000 because you're going to get them in the day before. You're going to put them in water. You're going to put them into the arrangements right away. You don't use any preservatives because you just have them for a short period of time. I just have them for a day. I'm putting them in these arrangements and then they're going to go out the door. What if I told you that instead of ordering 5,000 roses, if you ordered 3,000 or 3,500 and you got them in 5 days ahead of time, and you put them in a post-harvest product like Chrysler Professional 3, that those roses would open up. And instead of having a surface area of 3 inches, you're going to have a surface area of 7.
Oh.
So you need less flowers to make the look you want to create, and then you save money.
Yeah.
You can still charge the same amount because you have labor involved. I mean, and that's understandable too. But I mean, it all comes down to, what does this look like it costs when I'm done? Because also we know that if we do something that is horrendously expensive and we haven't executed it properly, it's going to cost too much and the customer's not going to want to buy it. Even though it might be pretty. There's only so many people in this world who want a taxidermied elephant covered with flowers.
Right.
It's going to be expensive. It's a lot of legwork. I mean, that's why the Rose Parade floats are expensive, is because it's a lot of flowers. But also, it's why they get the flowers in a week ahead of time and put them into flower nutrients so that the flowers are bigger. You can cover a lot more space with a rose that's 7 inches across than you can with one that's 3. You've increased the volume of that flower to make it look better. And so that works too. And I think that's the other education process, that people think that flowers are just flowers. They're not. It's a participatory sport. I've always told people that is flowers, you have to participate. We always do plop and drop. Many times I probably on the show even showed taking a bunch of flowers and putting it in the vase with the cellophane on the outside. Your wife's not going to be impressed by that.
Yeah.
And that isn't, it's participatory. You need to arrange them. You need to cut them. You need to care for them. You need to put cold water in the vase. You need to make sure the vase is clean. That's another thing too, is in this episode, we show they had 10,000 buckets,
all those buckets
that they were washing.
Yeah.
And that woman stands there every day and washes buckets.
Yeah. And sanitizes.
The dirty buckets don't stop coming.
Right.
And the clean ones keep going out on the conveyor belt. And that's why we showed it from 3 points of view, which was or 4 points of view. I'm sorry. We were at the field. At the field, that flower that they were cutting at Kendall Farms is going into a bucket that has flower nutrient in the water, and the water is cool. They are taking that immediately to their chamber where they pass it through the place that kills the ethylene and botrytis on those flowers, and then it goes into a cooler on a conveyor belt. Then in that cooler on that conveyor belt, they are packed inside there. And you saw all those people with coats packing those flowers with coats on because it's cold.
Right.
And it was nice outside, but it's cold in there. And then they go right from that cooler into another cooler that has the truck backed up to it, and the truck is already cold inside. And then it leaves. And they close those doors inside. Now, I have been to places where they don't have a dock like that. And when they pull the load away and then they get out of the front of their truck and they close the doors of their truck, they've broken the cold chain.
Yeah.
Even though it was that short of a period of time. Suddenly, that temperature went from probably 38 degrees in that truck to 55.
Oh, gosh. That's
just
all
that
it takes.
Quickly.
That
quickly. And then they shut it. Well, it's not designed to cool it down. It's designed to keep it cool. So it's just like it's working harder and they're not going to be there. Then it goes to floral trade distributors who then get it ready to go onto these big trucks that drive it all over the country. So that could be with Armelini, it could be with Prime, it could be with other shippers across the country where they're transported. So the ideal thing with flowers from California is that my flowers would get on a truck that was temperature controlled, drive from floral trade distributors, get into my wholesaler here and back up to their door and put it into their cooler so that we haven't broken that cold chain. Then processed in that cooler, put into their cooler where I come and pick it up. Truly, picking it up and putting it in my car is breaking the cold chain.
Oh, right.
So I have to be aware of that. I'm probably going to lose 3 or 4 hours on my flowers by just taking them in my car and transporting them here. I wish I had a cooler in my home. I really, honestly, I wish I had. I was thinking about it this morning. I wish I had a cooler in my home.
But you talked about your garage in the winter. You could even,
I can substitute a little bit. Sure.
Yeah.
Winter is much more forgiving than summer.
Right.
Summer's hot.
Yeah.
So then we went to Kennecott. Well, we also went to see my friend Barbara. So Barbara works at the San Francisco Flower Market. And the reason I wanted her in this video was for one simple statement that she makes that's so funny. Okay, so I'm going to say this about my friend Barbara because she listens all the time. Barbara's way of the highway. Always. Always.
Okay.
It does not matter. It doesn't matter if we're talking about lunch or visiting antique stores or if we're choosing flowers. It's Barbara's way or the highway. And she's been doing it for 37 years and she's an expert. And she's a Virgo. She says that in the thing. She said, I'm a Virgo and you have to prove it to me. And she said, they all said to me that having a cooler in your wholesale house was a game changer. And I was like, and she said, having a cooler in your wholesale house is a game changer. I'll admit it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that the whole purpose for that was so many people know Barbara. And so many people know how passionate she is about what she does. What a wonderful salesperson that she is. What a wonderful resource she is for education. She's a good person. You want that person on your team. You want a person that is that dedicated on your team. The fact that she said this was a game changer was worth its weight in gold.
Oh, okay.
Because that's someone who professed otherwise for so long and said, no, this really does make a difference. And then we came here to Kennecott, and Kennecott is my local wholesaler, and they have done so much implementation to their recent facility because we're experiencing climate change here in Michigan too. And we were having 100-degree days that were impossible to deal with. And so they had to air condition the building. They had to put in extra coolers. They had to put in new docks. They had to do all that stuff to make sure that they could continue to implement the cold chain. And that's part of it. And one of the things that I like to remind people is you don't just do the cold chain. You also check on the cold chain.
Oh.
And you test yourself and you make revisions and you make improvements so that you are doing a better job at all times. And that that's part of it is measuring. That was something that Dr. Stabi is so adamant about is measure your performance. If you're not getting a specific amount of time and whatever that time is that you want to say. I mean, for me, I would say if I'm not getting 8 days on a rose, if I'm not getting 12 days on a carnation, if I'm not getting 2 weeks on a chrysanthemum, I'm doing something wrong. Let's find out where that spot is.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see how we can improve that behavior. And I've had roses in my house last 26 days. I've had chrysanthemums in my house last 36. I've had zinnias last 14 days. I've had, or 28 days. I've had dahlias last 14 days.
Wow.
It's because I'm following the cold chain and because I'm doing best practices. And that's what this is about. So if you want to watch this video is going to be on uBloom. You can go to ubloom.com. It's also on my YouTube channel, Jay Schwanke YouTube channel. It's there for free. And then we're going to do the video that you see right now is a video for the professional flower industry. We are going to do a consumer version of the cold chain for our Life in Bloom show. And it's all about the cold chain. And so we're also going to talk about cool colors. We're going to talk about the scientific reason that cold water is better for your flowers than hot water with my scientist niece, Grace, who's going to be here to tell us that too.
Oh, awesome.
So there's just a lot of stuff that's going to happen, and that's all going to be in season 9. But I think it's really important. Again, my special thanks to Cal Flowers for when this idea came up at one of their member meetings. I went to Lane right away and he said, yeah, we'll help you support this and we'll help distribute it with you. And I think that that's really good. We have a copy of it. Cal Flowers can distribute a copy of it. Kendall Farms can, Mayish can, Floral Trade Distributors can, and so can Kennecott. They all have versions of this video as well that they can hand out to their customers or to other people who are interested. So if you're an educator or somebody like that, or if you're just starting a business and you want to learn more about it, call me. I'll send you a copy of the video as well. That's what it's about.
That's awesome.
Did I answer all your questions?
That was all of them. Yeah.
All right. Good. That
was great,
That's
Jay.
a challenge.
Yeah. No, it's so interesting to learn about because I mean, it's something that as a consumer, you're aware of and you see all these different steps, but you don't really realize how much everything impacts at each step along the way. And it's like so eye-opening to see that like just if one thing doesn't work, it's going to disrupt all of this. And at the end, like as a consumer, that's going to affect your product in a negative way. So I totally like appreciate you breaking all this down.
I think it's interesting too. One other thing I will say is, so many people say it's so nice to see the flowers in the grocery stores where I can look at them and see them and touch them. Almost all of the refrigeration that happens in those stores has forced air in it, which means that there is a barrier of air that is pushing down dramatically across the front of that display that when you reach through it and you bring the flower out, it's keeping the cold temperature behind it cool.
Oh, okay.
It's the same reason that the ice cream and the dairy aisle are colder.
Oh, okay.
Because that forced air is happening there too. Because you'll notice there's no doors on the dairy stuff.
Right.
You're just reaching, and it's a forced air cooling system that does that. And I think that that's a very interesting thing. And that was an innovation that was made to help the cold chain remain intact at the grocery store level for other products. So they finally utilize it. Finally, for many, many years, they've been utilizing it for cut flowers as well. It is important. And the other thing that I would say too is if you're buying flowers at the farmer's market right now, one of the things that your flowers could benefit from is you taking a bucket with cold water, putting them in that cold water bucket, bringing them home, put your flower in the refrigerator for a little while, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then arrange it. You'll notice you get more vase life out of it.
Oh,
it'll be amazing. Yeah, it's the cooler temperature. If you leave a piece of lettuce out on the counter, how wilty and gross it gets.
Yeah.
Okay, flowers are doing the exact same thing.
Oh, right.
And so that's why you keep your lettuce in the fridge,
Yeah.
So, same thing with the flowers. You want to keep them cooler at all times. So coolest, darkest place in your home is the best place for it in the summertime.
Awesome. Cool.
All right,
well,
great.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us this week on Behind the Bloom podcast with Jay Schwanke and RJ Pole. If you loved what you heard, be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. And share it with a friend to help us spread the joy, one bloom at a time. Thank you for taking the time to slow down with us. And hopefully you left feeling a little lighter and inspired to try something new. Make sure to join us next week for a brand new episode. Thanks for being here with us, Behind the Bloom. Hey, just one more thing. If you love flowers, you've got to check out ubloom.com. It's the online home of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom, where you can stream every episode for free. Plus, you'll find Behind the Bloom videos, my blog, show recipes, and so much more. There's also a massive video archive, over 1,800 how-to videos, flower farm documentaries, and even my very first series, JTV. All Life in Bloom episodes, exclusive web content, and farm documentaries are totally free. Just sign up with your email. And if you're ready to dive deeper, there's a paid subscription option that unlocks the full library of how-to videos. Everything from creating bridal bouquets to centerpieces, corsages, and more. Tons of content to explore. You're gonna love it.